You know those moments when you're facing a challenge and you just get stuck, wondering, why me? Well, today we're going to dive into this really powerful concept that can completely reframe that question. It can turn it from a moment of despair into, believe it or not, a catalyst for growth. All right, to get started, I want you to just picture something really simple, something we all know, a plant. It could be in a little pot on your windowsill, maybe out in a big garden. Just get that image in your head. Okay, so a plant doesn't fight back when a gardener comes along and snips off a dying leaf, right? Or trims a branch to help new stuff grow. It just trusts the process. But when it comes to the pruning in our own lives, the tough times, we often resist. And that begs a really important question. Why? And the framework for answering that question, it actually lies within this one single profound Quranic term, Rabb. This concept speaks directly to this whole process of nurturing, of gradual development, and the ultimate purpose behind it all. So to really get our heads around the meaning of Rabb, we're going to explore an analogy. It's one that's both super simple and, at the same time, incredibly deep. The idea of a divine gardener. So let's go back to our plant. A good gardener does way more than just splash some water on it. They create the perfect conditions, the right soil, just enough light, and they protect it. But, and this is crucial, they also prune it. They cut away what's necessary to help it grow stronger. They aren't forcing it to grow. They're helping it become what it was always meant to be. We can even take this a step further. Think about a pet. You feed it, you protect it, you show it tons of affection. But you also have to train it, right? And sometimes discipline it. And you definitely make decisions, like that dreaded trip to the vet, that the pet absolutely hates and has no idea why it's happening. But you do it because you see the bigger picture. You know it's for their well-being. And this is what it's all pointing to, a core definition of Rabb. It is the one who nurtures all of creation, step by step, guiding it towards its final intended purpose. Just like that plant or that pet, we are being developed in stages, and often in ways we just can't fully see in the moment. Now, understanding this isn't just some abstract, intellectual exercise. It can cause a fundamental shift in how you view every single thing that happens in your life. Seriously. And this right here is the essential mindset shift. The Rabbit paradigm moves us from that reactive question, why is this happening to me, which kind of makes you a victim, to a proactive, developmental one. How is this happening for me? How is this experience, even this painful pruning, actually helping me grow? Thinking this way has some profound psychological benefits. This whole gardener analogy helps us accept our dependence, see that discipline can actually be a form of care, and just make peace with our own limited understanding. It's basically admitting, hey, I don't always see the full picture, and that's okay. But look, any analogy is just a tool, and to get a truly clear picture, we have to know its limits. So let's explore where this divine gardener analogy has to and is supposed to break down. It's a simple statement, but it's so important. An analogy is not reality. We use the metaphor of a gardener or a pet owner to help us grasp a concept, but God, the Rabb, is not a human caretaker. The reality is infinitely, infinitely greater. So let's break down 4 key differences. First up, a gardener works with stuff that's already there. The Rabb creates the materials, the plant, the soil, the very laws of physics. Second, the Rabb sustains everything, moment by moment. Third, unlike a plant or a pet, we have moral responsibility for our choices. And finally, a gardener's knowledge is limited. The Rabb's knowledge is absolute and complete. And this really just brings us back to a core principle from the Quran. While analogies are super helpful for our limited minds, we have to always remember that, at the end of the day, there is absolutely nothing comparable to the divine. So that leads us to maybe the most important distinction of all, the one that applies specifically to us as human beings. It's all about our role in this whole process of growth. Think about it. A plant can't choose which way it grows. A pet acts pretty much on instinct. They are passive recipients of all this nurturing. But us, we are conscious participants. We get to choose. And that choice, that act of consciously and willingly aligning ourselves with this divine process of development, well, it has a name, ubudiyah. It's about recognizing the gardener's hand and choosing to grow with it, not fight against it. So, in our world, we often think of independence as the ultimate strength. But this concept completely flips that on its head. To be dependent on the Rabb isn't weakness at all. It's the strength of being under perfect, all-knowing, and compassionate management. And this leaves us with one last question to really reflect on. The real measure isn't how independent we are, but whether we, as conscious participants in our own lives, are actively choosing to grow in the beautiful direction we were ultimately designed for.